Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have Daren from Fatboy Fadeaway, all the way over in California, and you have Josh stuck out here in the middle of Missouri, hosting for 7 Day Stretch tonight. Darren, how's the weather out there in California right now?
Oh man, what do we have? Nice little 78 degrees today, tops, a little overcast. It was very nice out here today, Josh. No complaints. Can't
Jeez.
say anything out there. How's it out there in Missouri?
Dude,
You guys
89 degrees, humid.
how's the humidity starting to heat up this time of
Uh, it's starting to get there, man. It's not as bad as it's going to be in August, but man, this is only my second summer out in Missouri. It's a little bit different than Indiana. I mean, similar but different at the same time.
Yeah,
And I'm like, shoot, this is already getting rough. Like this is middle of July weather for me in Indiana, and it's different out here.
that's I'm telling you, that's the one thing I've told you I've never gone west or east of Utah in my life. So I have no idea even it's just one of those things. It just never whatever for whatever reason, I've never made it out there. Been to Wyoming, been to Montana, been to all those kind of states been to Washington, but nothing east of Utah. So when everybody talks about humidity, I just don't know what you're talking about. and it sounds miserable.
It's it would be miserable for you because you're not used to dealing with it.
Yeah.
But like once you get it, then you learn how to deal with it. It's fine. Just okay. How much water do you drink
People
a
say
day?
you have to go outside, Josh, and then you come back. You feels like you have to take a shower in 10 minutes. That doesn't sound very fun to me.
That's not it's not really always that bad. Trust me. But like I drink at least a gallon of water a day.
You got a guy Doug here too today. Uh,
What's up, Dougie?
doing good here, getting ready to talk. He's a Reds fan, and we'll get into that a little later.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into them Reds. Jeez, this NL Central division is just jacked this year.
Dude, I mean, your Cardinals, man, they're just falling off the bat this year. I know you do Birds and
Oh,
Bush every week, and I know we'll get into it more, but hey, at
mm,
least this year, this might be a good year to have a baby then, right? You can forget, you just stay focused on there. You don't have to worry about this season. Just let it go.
hey, since she was born last Monday, she has watched every single game that's been on TV.
That's good stuff. Um, you got here. What's he got here? We got the young Reds are looking good. Tough series versus the Braves tomorrow. I don't know. Like, do you think the Reds will hold on, Josh? To that? I mean, like, I know we'll go there, but let's might as well, right? Let's just talk about it. You think?
Let's get right into the Reds. Let's go, baby. I'm good with this. All right, so the Reds, and here, all right, the Reds. This is almost perfect. The young Reds are looking good. The young
Yeah,
Reds are looking very good, and the young, and I want to emphasize young here for a purpose. They're young, dumb, and they don't know what they don't know.
that's
This
fair.
is why the Reds are a threat for the rest of the season in the NL Central. As long as they can keep, I mean, they're not going to keep doing what they're doing right now. They're not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. But as long as when they lose a game or they lose 2 games or even 3 games in a row, as long as they don't lose that mindset that they know what they're doing, they know how it's supposed to feel. If they can maintain that confidence and that collectiveness, the Reds could definitely win the division. They're more complete than I thought they were. They have decent pitching. They have a lot of young talent that's unheard of, and Ellie De La Cruz has brought this team a jolt of energy that is undeniable. With his quote unquote antics, his personality. He's a young kid, still learning the game. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's got a lot of raw talent. It's going to be him and Jordan Walker for the next 10 years if both teams stay with their respective teams. Those are going to be the two big dogs everybody talks about.
The thing with the Reds I find interesting is Votto came back this last week and he kind of made it like kind of a pretty. It was kind of a. If I was a Reds fan, I would have dug it. Let's just put it that way. Like not to put Doug on it with that, no pun intended, but I would have dug it for that. Like I would have been all in the way he approached that, like kind of come back and like I have to fit in with a team that's won 8-0. I mean, that's got to be an awesome feeling for a 16-year veteran to join a team that's like young, hungry, leading the division, a very winnable division and just for a guy too that's been in the city his whole time, and I mean, is there a player if you think about it in the last I'd say 15 years, I guess his career that has represented a city better than him? You know what I mean? He kind of reminds me of because I'm a basketball guy. He kind of reminds me of Reggie Miller a little bit with the Pacers. Like he just stuck through everything. Never hasn't won a championship, but he's been there through every step of the way. You're from Indiana, but you can
I would say Reggie. Okay, so growing up,
but that's where that's kind of like where I see those guys in that same. And I don't know. I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Reds just a little bit. So for me, it's I'm always okay with them kind of making a run. So I don't know. I'm excited. They're like the new team in the Central here.
I'm not going to go that far.
You want the other red team? You want the other.
No. So okay. So being a true baseball fan,
yeah,
and being a Cardinal fan, I'm a diehard Cardinal fan. I don't root for anybody else except for Kansas City because they're on the other side of the state. I want all of my rivals to be good. I like it when the Reds are a good team. I like it when the Cubs are good.
Yeah.
I like it when the Dodgers are good because I can't stand those teams. But I want to beat them on their best day. I want to beat their good teams. It gets boring when you start beating them series in and series out year after year. There's no rivalry there. I love the feel of the rivalry. So I want the Reds to be good. I want the Cubs to be good. I just don't like it that my Cardinals are really bad this year, and
really
these teams are looking better. So
9 games out right now, Josh. Your Cardinals 31-44. They continue to not. They're right around. Their run differential is okay because they're still hitting. They've had a few games where they've blown people out, but you guys right now are just. There's no way you guys aren't even playing close to good ball. The division's the only thing. Do you really feel that way? Like I know I've listened to a lot more games the last couple of weeks, and it's you hear Arenado have his moments and Goldschmidt have his moments, and you guys have won a few games 10-4, and I saw one, like kind of like that, but it doesn't feel like you guys are a complete team yet. I gotta say, I think the Reds. I'm still thinking the Brewers. I'm not taking off that bet. I can't take that. You know that, but I'm really, and you know me, since I've done this pod with you, I'm usually all in on the Cardinals making a comeback. But this year, even with their veterans, it just feels weirder to me. It doesn't feel like the same vibe I'm getting.
It's very different for everybody who's a Cardinals fan right now. We are very accustomed to having good, strong, competitive teams. We are used to baseball being played a certain way, a certain style, let's call it.
Yeah.
And this team does not represent anything really that we're used to. They live and die by the home run. They have on paper, man. They're the best team in the Central and probably one of the top 6 teams in the NL, just on paper alone. But for some odd reason, this team cannot bring it together and put it all together. Because if the pitching gets good, there's no offense. When the pitching is bad, the offense seems to be better.
Yeah.
Is what I feel like. Because I feel like we're winning more games that are 8-7, 6-5, 4-7. I think we're winning more of those than we are 1-0 games, 2-0 games, 2-1 games. At least that's how I feel. I mean, I don't have any statistical information to back that up, but that's what it feels like right now. When we lose, and our pitchers are good, it's a 1 or 2-0 game. The Milwaukee game yesterday, for example, 3-0 loss, and Michaelis pitched 7 good innings. I mean,
yeah,
he had no run support. Like when you go out there and you can pitch 7 good innings and only allow 2 runs, your offense should be able to put something on the board to be competitive come the 9th inning.
Yeah, you guys are just missing something so far this year.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the manager. But the manager doesn't play the games either.
Do you think he'll get fired mid-season, or the Cardinals won't do that?
I think they'll wait till the end of the season. They'll give him the full year to see if he can have any kind of rebound in the second half.
Yeah, that's fair. That doesn't seem like the Cardinals' way.
The Cardinals the front office really screwed Marmol and the team. They wasted another year of Arenado's talent. He's visibly frustrated, taking complete ownership, saying it's not on the manager. He's saying all the right things. So is Wainwright.
What's the Rockies' record? I should look it up right now and see how far the difference
We're
is.
better than the Rockies.
So the Rockies are 29-48. You guys are 31-44. But he could have done this in Colorado and put up some bad. That's probably what he's thinking, right? He's probably thinking, could have done this in Colorado. He got paid, so I don't know. I think you guys.
I think he likes St. Louis better, though.
I think so too. It's a baseball town. How could you not like it more than Colorado? Sorry, Jimmy.
And he's already loved.
Sorry,
I
Jimmy.
mean, Jimmy knows what it is.
They won the championship with the Avalanche and then the Nuggets, so that I don't feel sorry for them with anything right now.
Yeah, I don't care for Denver
They
at
just
all right now.
they deserve a Rockies last place team. They can't have a baseball team good too. That's not fair.
Exactly. So no, it's a rough season, man. But when this team puts it all together, if they can put it all together for 3 weeks
Yeah.
and then just hold some semblance of that, they're in the playoffs because they're winning the division.
Well,
Do I think it's going to happen?
I
No.
don't. You're a fan. I get that. You're thinking. I got to say this year is the one year that's where like the Giants have kind of surprised me a little bit. Like I didn't think they would kind of make that run like this year. Like honestly, I don't like as a Bay Area fan, I'm one that I like seeing the Giants struggle. So because I'm an A's fan, I'm very petty like that. So it is nice to see Tyler. I don't want him in that good of a mood. We don't need to see, I don't need Josh Lewis in that good of a mood. So I'm petty like that with my Bay Area teams, but they're kind of a team that really has surprised me though in the NL. Like I can't believe it almost feels like the injuries almost has helped them because they were able to bring up those young guys, kind of like it's helped the Reds in a way. They got like Schmidt up, Matos. So they got like all these young guys coming up performing well. And it's like it's injected some life into them. It's really weird how in baseball that really makes a big difference.
It's very different in baseball. I mean, you see it in other sports too, but it is. Thanks, Doug. But it's been it's been very obvious this year how some of the young talent has come up and energized teams. I mean, you got to include the Diamondbacks on that with their phenom Corbin Carroll.
Yep.
I mean, Arizona's leading the West.
Crazy.
San Francisco's in second. The Dodgers are in third, and the Padres, although they are playing better ball right now, still have not put it together, and they're like I think 9 games back.
They're 5.5 back. Or no, you're right, 9.5 back. Sorry, I was looking at the wild card back.
Okay,
yeah, they're 9.5 back. The Arizona, you're right, they have a 3.5 game lead. Dodgers 4, Padres 9.5. So you're right, Arizona has been steady every week we've done this show.
And they have a young crew. Like they have a very young team overall.
Yeah.
And then Tampa Bay is a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
With the exception of Wander Franco and Randy Arozarena.
Do you really think Arizona though, Josh, can keep it? You've been on them. Are you still buying it with them?
I mean, they've done it halfway through the season.
I know. I'm just asking. In baseball, you can fold quickly.
Oh, they could.
I'm just asking. There's going to be some team out there this year that does it, and I'm just kind of picking through them a little bit. And Arizona, I've told you, is the team I'm thinking might do it, but they're proving me kind of wrong here through so far mid-June. They're still fighting strong.
I think it depends on how much control this manager has over his clubhouse.
Yeah.
If he can keep their minds right and make sure they understand what the goal is. Yeah, I think they could. Do I think they'll win am I saying they're definitely going to win the division? No, but they're a playoff team. And they could cause some trouble in the playoffs. They have enough pitching. The defense is good enough. They obviously have enough offense. They got little sprinklings everywhere. It's almost like they finally melded together and they understand how to work together as a team.
You're right.
Which is unlike the Mets and unlike the Cardinals, who can't put anything together to save their lives.
Hey, can I ask you what I asked the guys last week who you're on about? I said, what do you think has a better chance of happening? The Giants winning the NL West or the Pirates winning the NL Central? Like, where would you be at with that? Because we were mentioning the Giants. Like, do you believe in them yet? Or are you still like you know what I mean? Are you like Diamondbacks are still going to win? Dodgers are still going to overcome it? But we're talking about the standings. And then we just talked about the NL Central. That was my question. Just if you had to pick, what do you think? And I asked that the Pirates were in first place a week ago too, but just to let people know. We'll see what the Pirates are out right now. The Pirates they're now 5.5 game backs in 1 week. But that's saying the NL Central, can they hang in there and win that? Or do you believe the Giants could win that NL Central? How much do you believe in your boys, the D-backs here, Josh? Or the Dodgers, I guess.
See, I don't think there's a chance the Pirates can even make the playoffs.
All right.
So I'd say it's more likely Milwaukee or Cincinnati wins the NL Central
Hey, we got
than
to
it
read
would
this
be the
real quick. We
Giants.
got to read this real quick. John from Out of Your Falcon Mind, fellas, dropping in to show some love. We appreciate that, John. Thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate that. You're Atlanta A's. Good job. About to pass out, so I'll catch your replay tomorrow. Have a great show and congrats, Josh. So,
Thanks so much.
John shouting out Josh, having obviously Josh, you had your new baby this week, so
Yeah, baby girl.
John giving you a little love there with it. They went over 600 subs on their show, so I think we got to give them a little love.
Oh my God, that's awesome, guys.
So obviously, like I told him last time he was on with us last week, they keep us pushing, right? They're a good mark, so appreciate what they bring to the network. So, and obviously, big congrats to Josh here with that too. So
again, thank you so much, and congratulations to you guys. 600 subs. That we're trying to get there.
No joke. That's no joke right there. No joke.
Maybe we should start taking some notes.
Hey, John, come on every week. Come on, John.
Yeah, come on, John.
No, but like you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's gonna be Arizona or LA.
So you don't believe in the Giants yet, then?
I can't yet. No. Now give me 6 more weeks. Say what?
You can't name enough of the players like me. We can't name enough of the rookies yet. We can't.
I don't know, man.
Jock Peterson, I can't believe he's still doing stuff with the Giants, man.
Man.
And then Brandon
Crawford.
I can't.
Brandon Crawford's.
He's got some life a little bit again now.
A little bit. He's got a little bit of life.
I never thought he'd find it. All right, so you're like me. You're not sold on the Giants then yet.
Nah.
All right. We can unite on that then together.
That's one thing we actually agree on.
Yes. That's great. That's awesome. What else in the standings caught your attention this week?
Let's see here. Hold on. I had it pulled up, but I was laughing too much.
Hey, can I mention a pet peeve of mine while you're thinking of something real quick with that?
Please do.
Okay, I wanted to say I brought it up because you said you only got to see maybe the highlight of it was that Rangers one, because we talked about the Rangers last week. It was a very controversial this week with the guy there was 2 plays this week with blocking home plate, and we talked about the Giants and we call it the Buster Posey rule for a reason, right? When he got knocked out by, I believe it was Scott Cousins, and he dislocated his knee or blew out his knee, I believe, and he was out for the year. I know, I'm with you on that. I've always said that. I remember Mike Krukow, the announcer for the Giants. I can't believe it. That's disgusting. Like, he was so bad. Like, he went like Joe Buck style on Randy Moss. And it was pretty funny listening to that. I remember that being a big deal. So it's funny that it now with Bruce Bochy and Bob Melvin, both former catchers, get ejected back-to-back nights on plays at the plate. Josh, I'm telling you, this Rangers one, the one with the Padres one too, didn't make much sense. But the ball's coming down the line. Yes, the guy is literally – maybe he's standing on the direct line where the player can't necessarily see home plate. But I'm telling you, and Elvis Andrus – on the White Sox was still at least 20 feet away from home plate, at least. And the guy, and then as he comes, right, you can see the catcher start to kind of move backwards to catch the ball on the bounce. He's not coming forward, and he's moving backwards, and he catches it and swoop tags him. He has to sweep tag him. He gets him on the back, and they say he's out, but immediately they go to review, and the umpire says, in New York, not the umpires on the field, New York says that he's safe for blocking the plate, because the runner cannot see home plate with with enough time in that. So to me, I'm thinking, at what point are we taking this rule too far? And I think this week we saw it, in my opinion. And so I
definitely got to get my eyes on
that bothers me a little bit. This is something bothers me a little bit.
There's an inherent danger when you play a sport, regardless if it's a contact or non-contact sport. If you don't want to see people get hurt, stop watching sports. It is a physical. They're all the team sports are physical contact to some extent games. These players know what they're signing up for. They know the inherent risk. Leave our freaking sports alone.
Dude, it's bad. It's bad. It's a bad call. I mean, you see it, and it's just like, how is this? This isn't even this is a basic out in baseball. This is not. I don't know. It's like one of those things that you see, like, you're like, wow, this is something that has to change. So I hope everybody takes a look at it this week. You need to. Bruce Bochy's reaction is priceless. It's just the hat coming off and the way he moves his hips now running out. Just one of the best. Just a great one. So that was one of the best. Yeah,
the way he moves his hips.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I hate to see him on the dance floor. He'd be killing somebody.
Ugh, nobody wants to see that.
No.
While we're still in the NL and we're talking
Yeah.
about the NL teams,
Yeah.
Miami is still in second behind
Yeah.
Atlanta. They're 10 games over 500, and they're 6 games behind Atlanta.
Man.
Got to just give Schumacher and that Marlins organization some credit
Yep.
for what they're doing down there, especially with the fact that Sandy Alcantara has not looked like his Cy Young self.
Yep.
So kudos to Miami, and Jazz Chisholm's been injured so much this year. So I mean, they're not getting contributions from two of their best overall players. So really got to give some love to Skip Schumacher for what he's getting the team to put together down there. The
And
Phillies look like they're starting to kind of put some things together. The Mets are,
they're a train wreck.
yeah, they're a train wreck. And
Dude, their pitching is awful this year.
oh my God, it is. And they
They're
have so much money in their pitching. That's the worst part about it.
It's so bad. I was wrong on that one. I still think they'll make a little push, but man, not nearly how I thought they were going to make it. I got to go back to the Marlins real quick. Luis was it a rise, batting 397 after today. So, I mean, we were talking about favorite records, 400. Even though Josh Lewis, he was right, it's not 400 is the record. We always got to get our thinking baseball on. But that record alone, that'd be kind of fun if he challenges that.
Yeah, it'd be great. I have him on fantasy.
Dude, good dice fun on that one. You're racking up the average category in that regard.
Yeah,
Do you think the Mets will make a run, though?
The Reds?
The Mets. Do you think they'll make that run? Do you think they're dead already? Man, crazy. Baseball's a weird sport, man. You spend all that money. And you think they're dead, though?
Yeah, I think they're dead.
Okay,
I mean, they're dead unless
about the Cardinals.
Basically, yeah. They are dead unless one thing happens. For some odd reason, all their pitching starts clicking.
Yeah. I mean, they have the potential, right? We could say that with the guys.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, again, on paper, there's no way they should be 6 games under 500 and 14 games out of first place.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I've always thought they've lacked like that leadoff hitter a little bit. Like I like Nemo, but I feel like that's always a key with teams like that. Just that spark plug type guy, kind of like how the Marlins have with their guy at the top of the order. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he'd be like it just seems you're right. Something's just they should have the talent to be competing, no doubt about it. But it's really weird. You called it at the beginning of the season. You thought they would struggle, and basically that is the case right now. They just haven't been able to put any chemistry together.
Well, the only thing I don't like about this is I'm worried about this tarnishing Buck Showalter's career. I think so. Here's what happened: they went out and got one of the best possible managers you could find, and brought him to New York, and are paying him. Then the owner comes out and he decides he's going to play fantasy baseball in real life with no salary cap, and tries to put the best team on paper together he can. And doesn't think about team chemistry. Is this manager going to work with these players I've brought in? He just, I'm not saying the guy doesn't know anything about sports, but he definitely has presented the idea to me that he doesn't know nearly as much about sports as he thought he did. And he's wasting a lot of money.
I always say, like, I would always rather have an owner that goes all out like that. Obviously, you know what I mean. You're not gonna. Coming from an A's fan, like I'm gonna take anybody that's willing to spend anybody like that. So, I'm always gonna like at least respect that side of it. From if I was a fan base, at least that part. Like, okay, my owner is willing to spend whatever. But I think it's also it's not just all him. They tried to go after Carlos Correa too, and he's been awful this year. So. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think the Phillies also is an interesting one. I think you mentioned them as well. Like they're starting to get a little bit better. I feel like they're the team that might make that run. Like I thought it was going to be the Mets, but the way it's shaping up, it looks like they're going to be the ones that push them.
I agree. I think Philly's got it. They've been there before. They know they were already in a bad position last year, made it to the World Series. They know what it takes. It's just about them putting it all together and getting that stride. They still have 2 really good starting pitchers. They have what has always been for the majority of his career, a shutdown closer. They got good relief. They got plenty of good bats and offense. They got a Trey Turner who doesn't look like Trey Turner.
Yeah, that's
I mean, let's just be honest. If he really starts putting it together, like Trey, here's my message to you, man. If you're not eating enough cheesesteaks, start eating more cheesesteaks. If you're eating too many cheesesteaks, find something else there in Philadelphia to eat. Because whatever you're doing ain't working, man.
I really want to try one of those one day.
Dude, okay. Real talk. If you only get one opportunity to ever have one, you have to go to Philadelphia and get them. And then you need to eat at every single place that sells them that you can. Because they're all a little bit different. I went to Philadelphia one. The flavor of the meat, the way that it's marinated, cooked, what kind of cheese they use. Because some use cheese whiz, some use provolone. I've seen some use a cheddar or an American. Does it have onions? Is it onions and peppers?
What are you? Are you cheese whiz or the regular cheese on it?
Oh no, I'm provolone.
Provolone. Okay.
I'm meat, onions. See, I'm not big on peppers, so like if I can get it without peppers, I will. If I can't,
man, cheesesteaks. Nothing sounds better, right? That sounds good right now.
Here's my kicker, man. When they have it on the grill, ask them to throw a little bit of teriyaki on there.
Woo.
Breaks it in. They put the cheese on top. They're toasting the bread while and then the roll. It's got to be the right kind of roll.
I got to get out there. Man.
If it's not the right kind of roll, it doesn't work. But then they just scoop it, put it on there, close it, give it to you. That's like traditional Philly cheesesteak. But if you ever make it in Indianapolis, and I hope they somehow hear this, there's this place on 86th Street off the west side of 465. If you're on 465, you get off at 86th Street on the west side. You head eastbound off the exit. There's a place called Philadelphia Steak and Fries.
Yeah.
These two brothers from Philadelphia who learned who worked and did cheesesteaks growing up as kids, moved out to Indiana and opened up their own authentic cheesesteaks.
That sounds unreal.
Dude, when I used to work at one of my jobs was 2.5, 3 miles away from it. I would eat there 3 days a week for lunch.
Dude, that's and that's how Philadelphia's starting to play. They're starting to play a little tastier. They're starting to play a little better here. They're starting to like kind of pick it up. So, but that sounds unreal, man. Like I'm telling you, a cheesesteak from Philadelphia is high on the bucket list.
Dude, they are my favorite. I want to get a Blackstone because I'm friends with the owners of the Philadelphia Steak and Fries.
Okay.
Like I have their cell phones and stuff. And I told them when I was moving, I said, if I ever need the stuff, can you guys get it to me? And they go, yeah, we can ship it to you. Not a problem. And I was like, yes.
You're a good customer. You're a good customer.
I was I walked in, they knew what I was. One of 2 sandwiches I was getting.
You're one of the vet. They'll send you whatever. That's it.
Yeah, love those guys. Yeah. So shout out to them.
That's awesome.
Dude, you got me talking about food. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm hungry too now. I got you on that. I'm sorry. All right. Hey, can we go to the AL just for a sec?
No, let's go hit the AL. There's plenty to talk about there.
I just think Ohtani for a second. He's just a freak of nature. I just want to say that again. Somebody like leading the league in home runs, pitching every 5 days. Like, it's funny. I heard Keith Hernandez in an interview the other day, who was a good ball player. He's like, yeah, this guy's just an alien. Like, I know like people are drafting players to do that stuff now, but nobody's going to do it like him. I'm sorry. They're just not. It's not going to happen. So I always say, respect what you're watching, because it's never going to happen again. It really isn't. I fully believe that. If
Shohei Ohtani is on national TV, it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. You got to watch him. You got to at least watch why he's pitching. You got to watch him pitch. He's got a little bit. His delivery is different, but most of the players who come over from Asia, the continent of Asia in general, they all pitch a little bit different. It's not traditional American pitching, but his stuff is ridiculous. He's got gas for days.
Leads the net league in home runs, not just the American League, the whole entire league.
He's the great Bambino reincarnated.
Dude, I don't know. Throwing 5 days a week. I just want people to remember this guy's a stud. And the Angels, I mean, we'll see what happens with them. I always said they have the most pressure, I feel like, the whole year, right? Like the whole season right now, they're sitting at what? 3rd place. They're not doing bad for Angel standards, 41-35. They're a half game out of the wild card spot. So if you're them, to me, you just go all in. You don't trade them. You just go all in, and you see what happens. I mean, why would you trade that guy? You don't do that. You don't want that on your resume.
Shohei Ohtani is so good, he's overshadowing Mike Trout.
unreal. And Mike Trout to me, I don't know. Yeah, Mike Trout to me. We can talk about that another time. I feel like he's starting to fall down on that top 10 list a little bit, right? He's starting to kind of have those reality checks a little bit. Injuries are starting to add up, but he's still a hell of a ball player. But man, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Angels. The Astros, they're right behind them. The Astros seem to be they're kind of falling off a little bit this year. I kind of thought they would a little bit. So I'll be curious if the Angels can overpass them at all.
I would be thrilled.
I would be too.
I would be so thrilled. I am so done with the Astros.
They're a half game behind the Astros right now.
No, nothing against Susie, but I can't stand the Astros.
No, we need some new teams there. We got to get some new blood. They're mixing it up, and I wouldn't mind seeing Ohtani and Trout kind of pushed in an end of the year run. We haven't seen that. Who doesn't want to see the best players playing at the end of the year?
He's never gotten major primetime TV, national broadcast exposure because he's never made the playoffs.
I'll take it. Let's get it.
I mean, I want to see him at least get in this year, but can we talk about a disappointment?
Yeah.
Because there's like two major disappointments for me in the AL.
Let's hear it.
Seattle.
Yep.
And I can't figure it out because their pitchers all seem like they throw fairly well. They should have plenty of offense. I know Teoscar Hernandez had a horrible first 8 weeks of the season. And I mean, god-awful horrible. But Seattle is a huge disappointment for me. I had them making the playoffs, competing for the division. I don't know what's going on with them. And then Toronto. And Toronto's not even a bad team. They're 41-35. So they're 6 games over 500, but they're 10 games back. They are 6 games over 500 and 10 games back of the division.
What are they on the wild card? They are right now. They're sitting up. They're only a half game in the wild card though, but you're right. 10 games in the division. That's tough right away in June.
I'm disappointed in Toronto because I thought they'd be better. I've been a closet Baltimore fan for a couple of years now, just because it's like they were the bad team. I wanted to finally see them win. Well, Baltimore is killing it.
Yeah.
But Tampa Bay is doing even better.
Dude, they're just not letting up.
And yeah, Tampa Bay, man, they are the real deal. I mean, they are the real deal. Is Tampa Bay.
So now you said Seattle, they're 1 game under 500, and that shows you how the AL is pretty loaded there. Like, you know what I mean? If that was in the NL, that might be a different story. But you're right, they have really underperformed, and they're starting now to get late into the season too, or they need to start really making a push here the next 4 weeks before their next 3 weeks before their general manager has to make a decision in terms of where they go at the trade deadline.
Well, if Texas wasn't as good as they are, they wouldn't be in as bad of a position. But Texas, on everybody else's radar, being a year ahead of schedule, and we all know, I don't need to say it, but somebody on this network said that Texas was going to make a deep run in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
so they're a year ahead of schedule on the national scale. But
they're way a year ahead of schedule. I agree with you on that.
So if they were where they're projected to be, Seattle's not sitting so bad because you're 5 games behind Houston.
Yeah.
Well, actually 4. So Seattle's a disappointment. Toronto, I want to say I'm disappointed in them because I am. But dang, you got to give Baltimore all the props in the world for being way better than we thought they were. They're 2 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they're way ahead of schedule.
Adley Rutschman is the real deal, baby.
And they're fun.
Oh, hell yeah, they are.
They got some they got some fun players on their team. I mean, they take good at bats. They got some speed with Mateo there. They got some good young arms. They're an exciting team. And Josh, everybody in that division still over 500. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. It is crazy though that everybody's still over 500 in that division.
And the AL Central is completely opposite. You got one team that's 500, and everybody else is under 500.
Who do you think wins the AL Central? So you got Minnesota has a 1-game lead over Cleveland, and then Detroit's 4.5 out, and then Chicago's 32-44, and they're 6 out. Who do you think pulls that one out?
I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be, my opinion would be it's Minnesota or Cleveland. I would say Cleveland has a good chance because of Terry Francona. He's one of the best managers in baseball.
Not even a player. Yeah, I love it. I love it though. That's how bad the division is. It's going to come down to the manager.
No, so here's my thing. A manager is a manager.
For sure.
A good manager can make small impacts and changes and have small effects. Great managers can get you through the BS and the trenches when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, if it gets hard, you're not going to see Cleveland spiral out of control. They may take a dip, they will stabilize, they will come back. So Cleveland's going to be there, and I put base that on the great leadership they have. I don't know enough about Minnesota.
I feel like Cleveland has the best player in the division, right? With Ramirez, or you know what I mean? I feel like he's the best hitter when he's on in that division. I know
Yeah.
Buxton. I know Buxton came on last season. I know Chicago has a few guys, but Detroit doesn't have anybody, and obviously Kansas City's too far out to where it doesn't really matter, even if they did. So,
Right.
I think there's the case that he's the best player in that division, and so I think Cleveland is in a good spot. I feel like Chicago has the most potential because of like they're on like Dylan Cease and stuff like that. Is like I think he's the best pitcher in the division when he's on. So like that's why I always kind of give the White Sox a chance, but they always kind of let me down.
Yeah, when he's on is the key there, buddy.
Well, I think his stuff is good enough where I trust him for the most part. I mean, I know last year he wasn't as good, but this year, I mean, what are they? They're what are they? 32 and 44, and they're only 6 games out of first place. Crazy.
That's how bad that division is, though. I mean,
and we talked
just
about
like
Toronto.
the NL Central.
Yeah.
Except the NL Central's got 2 teams over 500.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are 2 very bad divisions in baseball, and that's the NL and AL Centrals.
It always feels like it's those divisions too. It always feels like they're the worst divisions.
They, as a collective, they always are because they're smaller market teams.
Okay.
You have one big market in each one of those divisions. Chicago.
And Chicago usually sucks in the Central.
I mean, the biggest baseball city out of all 10 of those or 9 of those cities is St. Louis.
Is it really Cincinnati? Yeah, I guess Minnesota's not. Yeah, you're right. I guess Kansas City. Yeah, that makes sense. Middle America.
Right. I mean, it's the market size. It's what.
So
I don't believe
the divisions kind of relate to property then.
Oh, 100%. No, I think it's not political, not like political in the sense of.
No. Just in terms of where like they don't win based on there's this like you're right, smaller markets. It's one big.
I don't think the MLB is scripted, but I do think they have their invested interests.
That's fair.
And if something's questionable, it may go one way rather than the other based on where city it's in.
That's fair.
If you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. That's fair.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel like the Stanley Cup playoffs went this year.
That's scripted for Vegas.
Because the NHL has loved on Vegas ever since they came in the league, more so than I've ever seen them do with any other expansion team, more so than they did with Seattle. And they kissed Seattle's ass pretty bad, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, the NHL loved bringing the Vegas Golden Knights into the league, and they wanted them to have a Stanley Cup. And they screwed it up the first go-around because they couldn't get the job done.
So do you think they do that this time with you think they do that with the Cubs a little bit?
I think it was a combination of the Panthers being so dang injured.
Yeah.
And the Panthers were an 8 seed. They got hot at the right time, and they ran out of gas. Fine.
Man, they couldn't even put up a fight.
No. Well, I
mean, they gave a little life in Florida. I'll give them that. They gave a little life in Florida. They fought on the home ice, but you definitely knew that the Knights were the better team for sure in that one.
Yeah, it was just I don't know.
I'm not a fan of Vegas though, as you can imagine.
You can't be mad at Vegas.
I am mad at Vegas. I don't want Vegas. Why can't I be mad at Vegas?
You can't be mad. I'm just trying. I'm trying to be unbiased because I don't like LA.
Hey, I asked last week on the pod, when I say Oakland A's, what's the first player or team you think of? Like, who's the first
Canseco.
guy? Canseco. Okay. John said Ricky Henderson.
Oh,
and that's what Josh said. I said my favorite one was Miguel Tejada. I always like as they're leaving. So I'm asking who you think of. Jose Canseco. That's a good one. I like that.
Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. Like those are my first 2. Yeah, those are my first. That's my first thought when it comes to the A's. Ricky Henderson obviously is on that list, but he wasn't the first one that came to mind.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. The Bash brothers are kind of a fun one on that one. It's really the A's have only that guy. They do have that guy stealing a lot of bases still out of their team. He might get 70 this year, Ruiz. We have something to clap.
I haven't heard nothing about Rooker in forever.
Yeah, because he's doing nothing. So there's a reason that you're hearing nothing about him. He's doing absolutely nothing. It kind of sucks to me with the AL East that Judge is out, man. It's just like when he's out, it just like to me it's a big sting. Like he's just like I don't know. He's just my favorite player to watch. I hate when he's out of the game. Hate it when he's out.
He's boring to watch.
Boring to watch. Every at bat, he can hit the ball 440 feet. Are you kidding me?
Does not interest me.
Oh, my God. He takes walks then, Josh. He can run. He can play. I mean, he played center field for goodness sakes last year. He's the best. I mean, do you think Acuna's he's the best player by far, right? Or do you think is it close?
Acuna?
Yeah. So you think now he's the best player, not even close? He kind of seems like he's on that getting to that level.
Like I can't say he's not even close. He's in the top tier because he like when I think of Acuna Jr., I think of Juan Soto. I think of Trey Turner. I mean, I think of that he's in that caliber of player.
Is he better than those guys though?
Right now he is. This season he's better than them. Man. But not by like a long mile or nothing. No.
Yeah. I was curious what you thought. I just think he's kind of starting to kind of separate a little bit this year.
I mean, he's the dude.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the dude this year for sure.
Definitely. Hey, can I ask you? Do you understand this All-Star balloting this year with like the Phase 2 thing and all that? Like,
so the Phase 2 is for people to vote who the starter is going to be.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's all that is about it. Okay, I was just like, what is this Phase 2? Why don't they just vote the guy, the starter?
Yeah, I guess you pick the two guys you want there, and then you got to vote again for the starter.
I saw I was like, it figures. You got Sean Murphy, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien, and Matt Chapman leading the All-Star voting. I was like, all four of those guys were A's like 3 years ago.
All it took was getting out of Oakland.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Those guys, I'm saying the owner sucks. That's my point every year at that. So there you go with that, the All-Star voting. Are you an All-Star voting person? Did you ever care about that? Ever? Was there a player or a moment you ever like? I don't think I ever really took it. I just was like, there's enough people out there that will do it.
I vote every year. But I don't think my vote's ever made a difference.
Yeah, you're one.
Because you got people out there voting 10 times a day. So.
Oh, yeah. People that run the franchises.
Yeah, I mean, I vote just to say I do.
Do you think the Braves have people in their system? I feel like they're one of these franchises that just get or is there that many Braves fans? I feel like they're always leading these players in voting. I'm like, their staff must be overloading voting.
There's that many Braves fans.
Man.
Dude, I'm telling you, so you don't understand. When I was growing up in Indiana, I watched more Braves games than I did Cubs.
Is it because of TBS? Because
they had such a reach.
Yeah, and they were so good in the '90s, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Like I got to see more Braves than I did Cardinals, and I lived in South Bend, so I got all the Cubs and basically all the Cubs and White Sox games on WGN.
The Braves were one of those teams, man. I remember they had some good teams too, and they were always
some. They were dominant in the 90s.
Well, they only won one World Series.
Yeah, but they were dominant.
Oh yeah, their pitching obviously was unreal. And then I always thought their hitting was they always were so stacked. They always had like Chipper Jones, and they'd always have somebody replacing David Justice.
Chipper and Andrew Jones.
Yeah. I was
thinking, they got JD Drew.
Yeah. I remember I was thinking of a random name with them, Rafael Furcal. You remember that shortstop?
Oh, he played for the Cardinals.
That's right, he did.
At the end of his career.
He wasn't very good for you guys, if I remember, or was he?
I mean, he wasn't what he was when he was with the Braves, but he was still.
Okay, so he was serviceable then.
Very serviceable. I mean, he was still an everyday starter, if I recall correctly.
I couldn't remember if he dropped off the cliff with you guys or not. No, the Braves are one of those teams. Like I used to hate their announcers though, because I thought they were the biggest. Skip Carey, I used to always rip on their announcers all the time.
Yeah, we have him now.
Yeah, you got him now with us. So I used to always rip on them back in the day, but they had that.
I'm getting used to him.
Yeah, No, the Braves are one of. I'm with you. The Braves are one of those like nostalgic teams. They're just always on TV back in the day. No other team will be like that ever again. Nope. Cable TV is dead. So there you go. That will never
Yeah,
happen
it's
again.
over. Man, you're bringing back memories now, man. I'm not lying to lie to you. So let's talk a little bit about All Stars. I mean, we don't have to disclose all of our picks right now
Yeah.
because we're gonna have another week or two to talk about it. So I don't want to give everything up. But do you have anybody who you? I mean, we already know the voting. Like the voting's done. We know who advanced. Is there anybody you wanted to make the All Star game that
Yeah,
didn't?
like maybe somebody I'm passionate about that I thought maybe should start or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly, when I was looking at the voting, I got to be honest with you, it was like one of the first years. I was like, they actually did pretty good on it. I thought for the most part, I was actually kind of surprised, like how good they did on the voting compared to other years. I'm usually like, what the hell were they thinking on this stuff? The one guy I'd like to see start, and he is right now. So I'm not. I'm just gonna say, is I think Marcus Simeon. I think this guy has always been underrated, and like the fact that he's like got a 21 game hit streak. I'm really glad that like the fans are voting him. He's like high on the voting list too. So I'm really like kind of excited to see him up there on the list. Like, I just think it's good to see like players like him get recognized or finally putting together a full season. And I don't know. I'm kind of surprised a guy like Marcus Simeon's getting the All-Star vote right now. That's what kind of shocks me the most, I guess, with something like that. So he's like right there. I don't know. Like he's just not that name where you're like, well, he's going to be leading the league, votes and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see him up on the list for sure.
See, I'm more surprised that Whit Merrifield's there.
Yeah.
That one surprised me more than Marcus Simeon.
Because of the Blue Jays factor. The Blue Jays get a lot of votes too, I noticed. They
got
stuff some ballots too up there.
They're Canadian. What else do you expect?
Stuff the ballots up there as well.
No, that's not a shot at Canada. But the only two good things Canada ever gave us was hockey and maple syrup. So
Hey, do you think Arenado should get in over Riley?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. And that's not me being a homer.
Yeah, I'm just asking you.
I mean, no Arenado. This is probably Arenado's worst season ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking as a complete package, and I still think he's better than damn near every other third baseman in the NL.
Yeah.
With the exception of Manny Machado, and the only reason Manny Machado's not going is because he was injured.
That's a good point. I just looked it up. Michael Harris is on this list too in the final voting. He should never have been on that list to begin with. I think you had him as one of the. He was been awful the whole season. The Braves fans, man. You're talking about Merrifield, Harris.
Yeah, but Harris has picked it up in the recent weeks. He is rolling now, but remember it's partially a popularity contest.
That is all it is. I agree. It definitely is.
I'm looking to see because I hadn't seen the whole list yet, so I'm literally browsing the list as we are talking.
Corbin Carroll rightfully is in there. He deserves.
Lourdes Gurriel.
Yeah, he doesn't get there. The All-Star games in Seattle this year.
Yeah.
I heard they're bringing back to 2001 some of the All-Stars from that 2001 team. I think they should. Would they have 9 All-Stars that year? Something crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Hey, can you name their All-Stars?
If you gave me an hour, I could probably come up with all of them.
I
know Ichiro's one.
You can. Yeah.
Was A-Rod on that team?
A-Rod was not on that team. He had left. That's what kind of made it kind of fun. They had. You remember Freddie Garcia? He's on the list. He was on that list as well.
That one.
Brett Boone. You probably remember him.
No, Brett Boone was on that team?
Oh, yeah. He was like in the home run derby, man. That guy was like doing steroids back then for sure.
Oh, I'm thinking of his brother, Aaron Boone.
No. That team. That team.
I was like, no, he didn't hit home runs. What are you talking about?
No, his brother.
Brett Boone. Yeah, but no, Brett Boone. Okay, yeah, Brett Boone. Who else would have been? See, this is West Coast. And I was a kid, so I didn't pay that much attention. Griffey was already gone, right?
Yep, he was gone.
Because Griffey had been gone, what? Griffey left in, what, 97?
Yep, he was gone in '97. They had Edgar, or do you remember Suzuki was their closer? You probably don't remember him. They had Jeff Nelson. He was the guy. He pitched for the Yankees too a little bit. He had a nasty slider. The center fielder, you'll remember his name when I say it, Mike Cameron.
Oh yeah.
He was an all-star that year. They also had Edgar Martinez, of
Oh,
course.
Edgar was on that team.
Yep. Ichiro Suzuki, Brett Boone, and then somebody that is as famous as can be a baseball player, but a lot of people forget about him. He did wear a helmet at first base, people. Yeah, we did. John Olerud made the All-Star team in 2001 as well. So they'll be there at the All-Star game for it. That's what I heard. They'll bring back all those guys. So that's crazy. That's how good. That's how their team was unreal, man. That year,
116 wins that year.
Dude, I remember the A's beat them. I remember in a series in like late September, and they were the first team to beat them in a series that year. It was like middle of September, and they were the first team to beat us to win a series against them. Not just that. That's how good a baseball they played that year. And that's how good you have to play to tie the all-time. What they have 114 wins, I think, 116, something like that.
116.
I mean, the pace they were on. I remember the A's team was pretty loaded that year, and they got off to because they were supposed to be good. They got off to a horrible start, and the Mariners were part of that reason because they played them so much. So it's kind of cool to me that they'll be bringing back those guys from that All-Star team, bring back some bad memories. To me, Ichiro, like I said, I always call him the biggest B in the world. I'm not going to finish the sentence, but when I hated him every time he was up, you're like, this guy's going to get a hit. If anybody was on second base, you just felt like he was going to get a single every single time. He was
dude, but you gotta respect Ichiro, man. He was.
I respect him. That's why I said he was. He was a pain, and you know what? Mad respect. That's what I'm saying. Every time he was up, that's the highest of compliments to him. It's like every time he was up, I was like, "Oh crap, here we go. He's gonna get another hit and bring in a run." You never wanted him up with somebody on base.
It's over, folks. It's over. We don't even let him swing the bat.
His inside the park home run is one of my favorite moments at an All-Star game.
Oh my gosh, he was just dude. Ichiro was something else, man.
He ran a perfect circle around the bases.
So what do you think about Ronald Acuna Jr. getting more votes than Shohei Ohtani for the All-Star game?
I mean, those Braves fans, man, they know what they're doing right there. They know how to really pack it in there. We talked about it. It doesn't make any sense. So Ohtani's the best. I mean, he plays in
400,000 votes too.
He's in
400,000.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think he's an unreal player. He's the best. You'd say he's better than Ohtani on offense for sure because his whole package. But when you consider what Ohtani brings to the table with his pitching, I mean, he should be leading the vote. But whatever, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, he's two players in one.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
It is what it, I mean, he plays good defense too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's a sub center fielder and he just has a great bat. Like, dude plays good defense.
They could put him in right field, and I'm sure he'd be perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, I think you put that guy anywhere.
Yeah, probably so.
He's first, probably not third, but first.
No, he's unreal. I mean, it's still amazing to me that he's beating him by that many votes, though.
Yeah, that was the one part I was like, oh shoot. So, how much do you think he gets paid in the offseason?
I think he could get $500 million.
Oh, I think it's gonna be more than that.
Man, I don't think. I mean, $600 million. I think he could get more than that.
I'm thinking 600 to 650.
Man, I don't know about that, but I mean, I could see it with him. But $500 million.
Continues doing.
Does anybody even make $500 million though? I don't think anybody's ever got $500 million in a deal.
Yeah, but we've never seen anybody do what he's doing.
That's fair.
And with the way the market is right now, I think somebody's dumb enough to go throw him that kind of money. Now,
you think it's the Dodgers?
I think he's, huh?
You think it's the Dodgers?
I think it'd be the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Cubs, Houston, San Francisco.
Padres.
That's good. Actually, you could throw the Padres in there. You could throw Seattle in there. I think he's going to go wherever he wants to go because he would have made more money staying in Japan playing than he got when he came over here.
No, that's
it's not about money to this guy. I mean, it is money to an extent, but he's going to go. I don't. If
you were guessing today, where do you think he plays? If you're just, I know we're not going to hold you. Just if you think he stays in with the Angels,
only if they make a deep playoff run.
I think he stays with the Angels. I think he stays with them. I think he seems like the type of guy that would stick with them. Trout's there too. I mean, I mean that's as good a duo as you're going to ask for a player, in terms of a teammate.
Yeah, but he's got a buddy in St. Louis that he likes a lot.
St. Louis. He's not going to
coming to St. Louis.
He ain't going to St. Louis. He ain't coming to St. Louis. I'm sorry. He's not. I think he's going to go to the Dodgers. I think that's the deal. If I was going to say there, I just think that's where they're going to be able to throw the most money at him. And if that's what it comes down to is money, then why not just go there? He is basically in LA anyways. He's in Anaheim anyways, right there.
Yeah.
So he could do that. So. Or he
might want to change the scenery, though.
Maybe he goes to New York. Maybe he goes there. Who knows? Yeah,
if he goes to Chicago, I'm gonna be so mad.
No, I don't think Chicago is a spot. I just don't think he goes to a Midwest team. I don't think he goes there. I think he goes to a coast. I do.
I would love to see him go to Miami.
That would be great. Down there in that area, that would be awesome. Talk about a culture shock. That'd be awesome. Him down in Miami.
Dude, he'd have a blast.
I couldn't see him in Philly. Definitely couldn't see him there.
No, they wouldn't treat him good enough.
Probably not. I mean,
Atlanta. If Atlanta had the money to pay.
Oh no! Don't get it. Atlanta can't get everybody, can they? They can't get everybody.
Why the Mets did?
That's true. They do have a tendency to make a run at everybody like that. I don't know. I think Seattle's a kind of a good hit in one. I think that's a good
Seattle or Texas.
Because of Darvish, maybe in Texas. I don't know. Bochy's a good coach. Yeah.
Texas is kind of set up for like the next 6 or 7 years.
No state tax.
And he gets to keep more of his money.
That's right there. That's true. That'll be interesting. What happens with him, man? That's a big storyline. The Angels obviously they hold the upper hand because they have him right now, so they can make the playoffs, like we said. So we'll see what happens.
Hell, man, he might end up in Vegas.
On that little
he
strip.
Might want to go live in City.
The owner's not going to pay for it. Are you telling me the owner's magically going to start paying players? If you tell me that, then I'll be shocked. It's not going to happen.
If he's getting a new stadium and a relocation, if he doesn't spend money,
he's not.
If he doesn't spend money, they're going to take that team away from him.
Yeah, and they should have.
They will find a way to force him to sell the team.
They should have took it away from a long time ago. He has never spent money on his team, so he's never spent money.
Well, it would be the worst move the MLB could make to let them go to Vegas.
Hey, they let Miami build a huge stadium, and then they sold off all their best players 6 months later. So you know what I mean? So you don't get, you know what I mean? So let's not.
That's Miami. That's the expectation.
Okay, well, that's probably what you think about with Oakland too. You know what I mean? So,
not a relocation.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. We'll see. I just not whatever. That thing will piss me off till it's done. I just don't think. Yeah, I just think Fisher just gets away. I just can't believe the owners gave into him that much.
That's what Kroenke did to St. Louis. He didn't want to go out and put big dollars on great football players and invest in his team, and he took his team over to LA and then just started throwing down money.
Did you know he was the Nuggets owner?
I didn't until you told me, and that's why I was like, well, I can't root for the Nuggets now. I have to root for Miami. Yeah, because I can't stand Miami.
That's funny. I'm not a Miami fan either in that regard, but I thought it was funny. Kroenke was holding that thing. I was thinking of you guys.
He's a bastard.
Well, baseball's starting to get to that crunch time part of the season, man. Starting to get to the summer a little bit here. Starting to we've got the College World Series kind of finals coming up a little bit. So this is kind of a fun point of the season.
Heck yeah. I'm excited for our home run derby watch along. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be there with me.
Yep.
Just so you know, because I don't know if I got to tell you this or not, right. The Sons of Shea, New York Mets podcast, they're going to come on with us.
Okay.
Josh Lewis is coming in. Susie's coming on. Jordan Maroney's coming on. He's bringing the Inglorious Batters with him.
There we go. So we got
Logan Stone's going to make an appearance.
We got a big crew then.
We're looking for – we got a couple other people we're trying to talk to right now and see if they can make time to come on too. So it's going to be a fun show. We had a lot of fun with it last year, rolling people in and out, just chit chatting and everything.
Oh
So
yeah.
mark your calendars, night of the home run derby. We're going to do a live casting of it. We got
Beverages allowed. Beverages allowed.
beverages are allowed, families allowed. Because at some point I'm going to have to. Thank you so much, Jim. Um, I'm going to have to pick up the baby and hold the baby during the podcast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's mark your calendars.
Catches a
We
foul
may
ball,
be,
baby in it, man.
yeah,
You
you.
gotta do
I
that.
already got that. You already know. We're working on doing something special during the cast, so make sure you get in the comment section there and hop in with us and join all the fun conversation. Ask your questions. It's a good way to meet everybody else in the VSN community. I'm sure Brandon Saffel, our CEO, will be on at some point as well. So stop on by, mark that on your calendars. We're gonna have a great time. Daren's gonna be your lead host for that.
Oh, that could go crazy over there. Hey, can I ask you about Brandon real quick? So,
what about Brandon?
okay, so I heard you on the show. You were watching our PE show the other day that we were doing with it, and I thought it was funny that he said he picked kickball because of he said his girth. He used the word himself, the size. He used that, but then he picked tag. I was surprised. That surprised me. He went polar opposite on me on that. He surprised me on that pick. So I thought
Yeah,
I got to shout out Brandon. He puts a lot of work out here. I always got to shout out
dude,
CEO out. So
he does put in work, but no, tag was not my game, so I was like,
I thought that
all
was
right, it's dodgeball, and then it's kickball, and then I always like playing lacrosse in gym because we got to run around and whack each other.
that
As
would be
close as I was
funny.
gonna get to playing hockey. Now
Yeah.
we played street hockey in gym, so that was on my list from when I was in school, and then I like playing basketball in gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Those are good choices there for sure. I just thought it was funny. He had kickball then tag. I was like, that's a polar opposite of that one.
yeah,
But
that's not
I
a
was got to shout out Brandon out for sure. But I'm looking forward to doing that home run derby. Like you said, we're gonna have many people in from different shows, and it's fun to do that. Like we said, kind of get different people's personalities and like while we're talking sports and debate things a little bit in a fun way. So that will be good stuff.
well. All I can do is warn you. You need to make sure you got plenty of drink.
We got to shout this out, right? It says our guy here. What did you say, Jim? Is that his name? You said Jim here.
Yeah,
So
TVG is Jim.
I'm guest hosting in Glorious Batters tomorrow night. Since Jordan is gone, I'll be with Rob and Adam. So yeah, check out their show. They do a good job over there. They do a lot of fancy baseball stuff as well. So yeah,
And they're fun.
We'll have to check that out.
They're fun and they give out a lot of great information.
Absolutely.
TVG may be even making an appearance during
There we
the
go.
home run derby. Like I said, I got a couple other people I've reached out to who've been on in our crossover episodes before. Just everybody's really busy this year. So, but I mean, be prepared, man. I'm not lying to you. You better make sure you got your snacks handy and make sure you got a little cooler next to you
A little cooler.
because we'll be on for like 3.5 hours. So
we can keep saying that. We'll be on for a while. Back. We can hear that the whole time. So that'll be fun. No, I'm looking forward to it, man. It'll be good stuff.
it's gonna be fun. But no, I got nothing else for this show tonight. Cardinals and the Cubs are. That sounds great, actually. Good. The Cardinals and the Cubs are playing in London this weekend, representing the MLB overseas. So I think they're on Fox tomorrow at like 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So check that game out if you want to, because I know Steele is
50
pitching
runs
tomorrow.
50 runs in London again. Wasn't the Yankees or Red Sox scored like 15 runs each or something like that last time?
Something like that. It was something stupid.
Yeah.
But Steele is pitching tomorrow against Wainwright. Wainwright's going to set a record just by starting the game tomorrow. He's going to be one of, I think, 4 players to play in 4 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Or something along that lines. I don't know exactly what it is. Steele's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. And then it's Stroman and
He's been awesome.
I want to say Flaherty or Liberatore on Sunday. So they'll be good games. But they're in London, so it'll be fun to see. What other big games are going on this weekend? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Who else has got big games? Wander Franco's been benched for 2 games.
I saw that. I was going to kind of bring that up at the end. I thought that was interesting for like hustling and like antics on the field. And I mean, I don't know if it's for flipping the ball necessarily, but like just kind of different things like that. I think you would do those and they kind of add up, and like throwing tantrums and stuff like that. Like if you're a man, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to deal with somebody throwing tantrums like that.
No.
Nothing gets. So obviously it had to be something somewhat big to get 2-game suspension.
Well, he got it from the team.
That's what I mean. It had to be something. It's not little. The Rays don't strike me as a team that just like, oh, we're suspending you for like, they're not Tony La Russa anything, or you know what I mean? Like he flipped the ball and they didn't seem to have a problem. You get my point? Like to me, this is a build-up of a few things. So I do find
just
that
bothers me. But the problem for me is I need the points, and he's my number one fantasy position player.
Yeah, it always comes back to fantasy, doesn't it? It always goes back to fantasy. Hey, the Giants play, or the Diamondbacks play at San Francisco this weekend too. That's a big series.
That's the other good matchup. Yeah, so that'll be a good one it'll be a division matchup. So lots of good baseball going on this weekend. So catch your games. Make sure you guys catch Glorious Batters tomorrow night. Birds at Bush will be, or Susie. When will Susie be on? Susie's on Monday.
Monday, sometimes Saturday mornings too.
Saturday. Check out the VSN page. Susie will be on, talk about our Astros. Birds at Bush will be back next Wednesday night. Then we will be back next Thursday night, ready to rock and roll with you. Daren, I missed you being here. I had fun with Josh Lewis, and then obviously I wasn't here last week. So thanks for covering for me.
Yeah.
I'm
See you next. That was good, man. I guess we'll call it a show from there. That was a good 7th inning stretch. So until next week, we'll see you guys then. Peace.